buttercup, you're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall, won't stop till I get enough.
All right, so we're diving into this Packers-Vikings game from Week 17.
Yeah, this one had some serious playoff implications, right?
Oh, absolutely, and we've got this really detailed game recap to help us break it all down.
I was just looking over it, and I think it's going to give us some great insights.
Think of it as your cheat sheet to understanding what went down on the field.
Exactly. No need to sift through all the noise. We'll give you the good stuff.
So the Vikings were sitting pretty at 13-2.
Yeah, prime position to snag that #1 seed.
Meanwhile, the Packers were fighting to secure their playoff spot.
High stakes for both teams.
And the article does a great job of setting the scene, too.
Oh, yeah.
Describing that electric atmosphere at U.S. Bank Stadium.
You can practically hear the skull chants, right?
I know. They even had former Vikings Pro Bowler Pat Williams blowing the Jaller horn before kickoff.
Oh, man, that's got to get you pumped up.
Now, one thing that jumped out at me right away was the Packers' injury situation.
Oh, yeah, they were missing some key players on defense.
Jaire Alexander, Christian Watson, Quay Walker, all out.
Especially Alexander, that's a huge loss for them.
He's their top cornerback.
Yeah.
And it seemed like every time the Vikings offense got rolling.
The article mentions how the Packers were missing him, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just how big of an impact do you think those absences had on the game?
I mean, it's hard to overstate it, honestly, especially Alexander. He can lock down receiver, and without him, the Vikings had way more freedom.
So the Packers were already at a disadvantage going into the game.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that.
What else stood out to you in that first quarter?
Well, even without those key players, the Packers defense actually held strong early on.
They did, yeah.
First quarter was a back-and-forth battle. Both teams struggled to score.
The article mentions a fumble by Josh Jacobs recovered by the Vikings.
Oh, right, and then a couple of near interceptions by Jordan Love.
It felt like both teams were kind of feeling each other out, you know? Like you often see early in these big games.
Oh, for sure, for sure. But then the Vikings' offense started to click.
They did. And that's where we see their adaptability.
Everyone and their mother expected them to lean on Justin Jefferson.
Oh, yeah, their star receiver. But the Packers did a decent job containing him early on.
At least early on. So how'd the Vikings adjust?
Well, the article points to Jalen Nailor having a breakout performance.
Taylor, yeah, he stepped up big time.
With the Packers focused on shutting down Jefferson.
Makes sense. Darnold started looking for Nailor over the middle, and he delivered.
He finished with 4 catches for 59 yards and a touchdown.
Not too shabby at all.
That 31-yard touchdown pass to Nailor, that felt like a turning point.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Vikings realized, hey, we've got other weapons besides Jefferson.
And that's Darnold, right? Evolving as a quarterback.
What do you mean?
Well, we're seeing him go through his progressions, reading the defense, not just relying on Jefferson.
Spreading the ball around.
Trusting his other playmakers.
The article also mentions some missed opportunities for the Vikings early on.
Missed opportunities? Like what?
A drop touchdown pass to Jordan Addison, missed field goal by Will Reichard.
Ah, right. How crucial were those, you think?
I mean, they definitely kept the Packers in the game longer than they might have been otherwise.
Oh, yeah, if even one of those plays goes the Vikings' way.
The momentum shifts even further in their favor.
Absolutely.
Speaking of momentum, the Packers seem to really struggle in the red zone.
Red zone struggles, yeah, that was a theme for them.
Settling for field goals on multiple occasions.
Yeah, the article really highlighted the Vikings' red zone defense.
Bend, but don't break.
Exactly. Forcing those field goal attempts instead of touchdowns. Huge difference, especially in a close game.
So even with the missing players and those red zone issues, the Packers were still hanging around.
Resilient bunch. Got to give them that.
Anything else stand out to you about the Vikings offense in this game?
Their ability to just exploit those mismatches, it was impressive.
How so?
They weren't afraid to move guys around, find creative ways to get them open.
The article mentions Darnold connecting with T.J. Hawkinson for several big gains.
Hawkinson, yeah, he's a tough matchup for anyone.
Especially with the Packers' secondary depleted.
They were vulnerable in coverage. Vikings capitalized.
That's the mark of a well-coached team.
Identify weaknesses, exploit them.
Darnold really seemed to be in his element.
Spreading the ball around, picking apart the Packers' defense.
But the article also mentions some struggles with their kicker, Will Reichard.
Oh, yeah. Reichard had a bit of an off day, 2 missed field goals.
That definitely kept the Packers within striking distance.
Yeah, even when it felt like the Vikings were in control.
So we got the Packers with the injuries and red zone struggles.
And the Vikings finding ways to move the ball, exploiting those mismatches.
Setting us up for a classic back-and-forth NFC North battle.
You got it. But then the fourth quarter, oh boy, things got real interesting.
The Packers mounted a comeback, led by Jordan Love.
Yeah, just when you thought the Vikings had it in the bag, Love just started slinging it.
Down by multiple scores they could have easily folded.
But Love, he engineers 2 touchdown drives, man.
Connecting with Daubs, Melton, Malik Heath.
Yeah, it's really something, right?
That's what jumped out from the article, that ability to step up in those high-pressure moments.
You could see those glimpses of his potential.
Like, okay, maybe this guy could be the future.
And he did it without his top weapons, remember?
Right, Watson was out, and the Vikings knew they were going to have to throw.
So Love's got to make plays. Depleted receiving core, tough defense.
The article mentions a couple deep completions to Daubs.
Oh, yeah. And a scramble for a first down by Love himself.
He wasn't afraid to take some risks.
And they paid off, right?
He was attacking that Vikings defense.
Looking for those explosive plays to get him back in the game.
But even with Love's heroics,
The Vikings D, they held strong late in the game.
Carrington Valentine comes up with a huge interception.
Turnovers, man, they changed the game.
Gave the Packers one last chance to tie it up.
Oh, man, the momentum swung right back.
It felt like the game was hanging in the balance. The Vikings clinging to that slim lead.
Packers, all the momentum.
Classic rivalry game.
Intensity, back and forth, you never know.
That's why we watch, right?
But in the end, the Vikings held on 27-25.
Clock management, that final drive, it was textbook.
No mistakes, converting those key third downs.
Seal the deal. That's what they did.
It's interesting looking back.
What do you mean?
The Vikings win, but they didn't dominate, you know.
Well, the Packers were missing those key guys.
And those red zone struggles, but they were right there until the end.
That's NFL these days.
It's any given Sunday.
Parity, man. It's a real thing.
So we've covered the game itself.
But there's more to it than just the final score.
The article goes into the playoff implications for both teams.
Playoff picture getting a little clearer.
The Vikings, they bumped up to 14-2.
Week 18 showdown with the Lions.
NFC North title, #1 seed on the line.
Can't get much bigger than that.
And the Packers, that loss dropped them to 11-5.
Need a win in Week 18 against the Bears
to secure that playoff spot. Both teams still had everything to play for.
Crazy how that works out sometimes.
NFL, baby. Never a dull moment.
Okay, so we've walked through the game.
Playoff implications, the whole 9 yards.
Now let's dive into some of those more nuanced takeaways.
Sounds good to me.
I'm particularly fascinated by Darnold's performance.
Darnold? Yeah, he had a good one.
The article highlighted his efficiency, especially throwing between the numbers.
But it's more than just the numbers, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
His decision-making, that's what impressed me.
He was decisive, accurate.
Exploiting those weaknesses in the Packers' defense.
Not forcing anything, not trying to be the hero.
Playing within the system, making the right reads.
People often overlook that mental aspect of the game.
Quarterback, it's not just about arm talent.
Processing information, making choices under pressure.
And Darnold, he showed he's got the mental makeup to succeed.
He's matured, gained confidence, trust in his teammates.
I like what I'm seeing from him.
The article also talks about the Vikings' offensive diversity.
Offensive diversity, huh?
It wasn't just Jefferson. They had contributions from Naylor.
Naylor, right, and Addison.
Hawkinson, even the running backs got involved.
That's what makes them dangerous, so many weapons.
Defenses can't just key in on 1 or 2 guys.
And Darnold, he's the conductor of that orchestra.
Spread the ball around, quick decisions.
Me keeping everyone involved.
Another thing I want to touch on is Love's performance in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, he showed something.
Packers lost, but those flashes of brilliance.
The article even called him a potential future star.
What impressed you the most?
His resilience, man. Tough defense, missing his top receiver.
Down by multiple scores.
But he didn't quit, kept fighting, making plays.
You could see the potential, even in a loss.
That's what separates the good ones from the great ones.
How they respond to adversity.
Love showed he's got the character, the talent.
All right, so we've covered Darnold's evolution.
Vikings' offensive diversity. Love's potential.
But what I'm really curious about is that Week 18 matchup.
Vikings versus Lions, winner take all.
Division title, #1 seed. What a way to end the season.
NFL scriptwriters, they couldn't have written it better.
It feels like we've just scratched the surface.
Yeah, even after breaking down all the key moments.
But that's the beauty of a deep dive, right?
We go beyond the box score, the why behind the win.
And there's still so much to unpack, especially with Week 18 coming up.
Oh, yeah, Vikings-Lions. Can't get much bigger than that.
The article really sets it up well.
Winner takes all, battle for NFC North supremacy.
What do you think are going to be the key factors in this one?
Ooh, that's tough, man. Lions have been a force all season.
Strong defense, balanced offense.
But the Vikings, they adapt, they overcome.
Even without some of their key guys.
Clash of styles, really?
Lions rely on that run game, control the clock, wear down defenses.
Vikings, they're more high-flying pass first.
Think they can keep up that offensive pace against this Lions defense?
That's the million-dollar question.
Lions, one of the best D-lines in the league.
Stopping the run, they're experts.
But the Vikings have shown they can be creative, find ways to move the ball.
Even when the run game's stalled.
It's going to come down to Darnold, I think.
Can he keep making those quick decisions? Finding open receivers?
He was impressive against the Packers.
Spreading the ball around, smart reads, avoiding turnovers.
Think he can replicate that success against a tougher Lions D?
He's going to have to be even better.
Lions create pressure, force those mistakes.
But Darnold's shown growth, maturity.
I wouldn't be surprised if he steps up.
Me neither.
We've talked quarterbacks, offenses, but what about the defenses?
Defense wins championships, right?
Vikings missing some key guys, but they still held on.
Lions have that strong run game, DeAndre Swift.
Control the clock, that's their bread and butter.
Vikings got to be disciplined, avoid those big plays.
Can they generate enough pressure on Goff?
That's going to be key.
And then you've got the coaching matchup, O'Connell versus Campbell.
Oh, man, that's going to be fun to watch.
O'Connell's done a great job getting the most out of his players.
Campbell, he's instilled that winning culture.
Two of the brightest young coaches in the league.
Chess match, adjusting on the fly.
Can't wait to see what they come up with.
Me neither. It's going to be a good one.
All right, so we've got this high-stakes matchup.
Division rivals, contrast in styles.
Talented players, brilliant coaches, the perfect recipe.
For an unforgettable Week 18 showdown.
Any final thoughts for our listeners before they go back and really dive into the source material?
Anything can happen in the NFL. That's the beauty of it.
We've seen upsets, comebacks.
Vikings, Lions, both capable of winning.
Wouldn't surprise me if it came down to the wire.
Parity, unpredictability. That's what we love.
Well said.
Oh.
We've given you the insights from the Packers-Vikings game, set the stage for that epic Week 18 finale. Now it's your turn to go deeper, explore those sources, draw your own conclusions. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive. We'll catch you next time.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.